What's up, guys? Online Persona here, and welcome to the first actual episode of This Weekend Gaming. This is going to be a YouTube series pretty much about the daily news that has been going on. Don't know the schedule yet for it, but I'm just kind of doing a little test run for it. Without further ado, I think we can get started with this. So the first thing up on my list of things coming out this week, Microsoft Project Scorpio specs have been released, and they seem pretty incredible. Now, so it's going to be able to play games at native 4K, probably at 60 frames a second. It seems like that Microsoft is trying to go in the whole direction where they really want to make a powerful console, and it's all about power, pretty much. There have been a lot of issues, I believe, with Microsoft so far. Um, they're trying to win back third-party developers and maybe get first-party developers, but in-house Microsoft has kind of failed for quite some time now, because I believe that we can all agree that the Xbox One has pretty much failed this console generation, and I'm thinking Microsoft is hoping that this Project Scorpio could actually fix that and bring in new developers to make games. Because right now, unfortunately, Xbox One, they have no exclusive titles. That's going to be a really, really important thing when it comes to getting other developers in on it. Is possibly the hardware and how well the actual consoles are selling. So Microsoft, they're trying to do something with the Project Scorpio. They're trying to make it as powerful as possible. It's not going to be as powerful as a PC. Let's get that out the way at first. It most definitely will not. It will be stronger or more powerful than the PlayStation Pro, I believe. So hopefully we get to see something, because right now they're just announcing this whole Project Scorpio thing, and there is like nothing for it so far. Uh, as you can tell, like, this year has been pretty dry with Xbox One titles, or I'm sorry, exclusive titles. There hasn't really been any, honestly, and that kind of sucks. Like, there are no games for the Xbox One as of right now. Some people might say, they have Gears and Halo and Forza, but like, those aren't really console sellers anymore, to be honest. Maybe Halo is, but that's all. And Nintendo and Sony have been destroying it so far this year, especially Sony with the PlayStation 4, because PlayStation 4 has been dominating with all of its exclusive titles. So honestly, it seems like, in my opinion, a lot of people are going to argue and disagree with me that the Xbox One has completely failed this console generation, and honestly, hands down, the PlayStation 4 is the best console right now, probably with the exception of the Nintendo Switch, which will most likely be later on throughout the years as it gets more titles in on its platform. Uh, if you look at the list for all the games that have come out so far that are been on Xbox One, they've all been multi-platform, and there hasn't been any exclusive except for, I believe, Recore, which was a pretty awful game in my opinion. It was pretty bad. So it doesn't help that I shelled out money and I can't really get it back. It kind of sucks. And I've honestly thought about giving up my Xbox One, but I have some hope that there'll be something. Unfortunately, I think last month Scalebound was canceled, and I'm actually shocked at that, because that was probably the one game that a lot of people have been like hoping for, to bring in more people for the Xbox One, and now that it's canceled, there really isn't anything else. You had Quantum Break, which was good for people that wanted to watch a show, but that was about it. and now there isn't anything. So hopefully Microsoft brings back the exclusives, brings back more features. Because honestly, right now it seems like they just want to make a powerful console for a dead platform as it is right now. And one of the things they cannot do is have their games come out for the system and for PC. That is probably a really bad idea. If you want to get people's hands on these consoles, you can't have that alternative, because most likely people will go to the alternative and they already have their PCs. And for the most part, a lot of people can build PCs for relatively cheap to run these types of games. Like you had Recore, Quantum Break, and Killer Instinct, for example. It doesn't take that much of a strong PC to like run those games. So if there are gonna be any games, and you have to think about it, all the games that are gonna run on Scorpio are gonna run on Xbox One. Maybe a mistake, I really don't know. Strictly because that doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody want to, give up with like maybe $700 $800 for another console to play the exact same games on a different system? It's just like with the PlayStation Pro. It doesn't make any sense why anybody would get rid of a perfectly fine PS4 to get a brand new PS4 Pro when it's the exact same thing. Now there are slight differences, frame rate and the resolution of the games, but that's pretty much about it. It doesn't really add anything extra onto the games as itself. So once again, unfortunately, Project Scorpio is not winning my money yet until I see console exclusives and not just third party titles on a console. I'm not really interested, unfortunately. a lot of a lot of Xbox fanboys, I guess, are gonna target me for saying something like that. Like, that's a really bad like way to put it. Xbox doesn't have any games. Well, they don't, So unfortunately, we're gonna have to see how things go with Scorpio. Hopefully, Microsoft says something, because they've been extremely quiet with the exception of this, specs reveal. Hopefully, they come out with something like a press conference. All right, let's move on to topic 2 here. Persona 5. Persona 5 just got released this week. It's shipped out about 1.5 million copies in that first week, and that's pretty insane for like, maybe I think 3 days within launch. So it's selling pretty well, and it's getting like 9s and 10s across the board. And this year's been pretty stacked in gaming, honestly. It's been pretty expensive. But that's not just the only thing that I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to talk about this whole Atlas thing that's been going on with Persona 5 very specifically. Um there's a lot of like Atlas has been threatening a lot of people with sharing Persona 5 content and streaming it as well. Apparently you can only stream the game up until July 7th. So I'm guessing it's to avoid like major spoilers, cuz I think the game starts in April, so you got like 3 months, which is a pretty good time, I would say. I think it's like 1/3 of the way into the game, in my opinion. I don't know how long this Persona 5 has been, because I'm only like in the very beginning. I'm still on my first dungeon, so. Uh, but yeah, the Atlas is kind of buckling down on or spoilers, which I have to say I actually love that idea. I wish that more games would do that. That was like heavy story wise. Um, Something like that I would invest my time in to play, but something like Danganronpa 3 that has already come out in Japan for months now. and won't be available in America until September. So there's a pretty long ways away until that game comes out in America, and I'm sure there's hundreds and thousands of spoilers in the internet that I'm trying to avoid, and it makes it really hard because YouTube suggests Danganronpa content to me all the time. So it's hard to like get past that whole idea. Um, yeah, some of the guidelines that Atlas is like put down for people is 90 minutes of gameplay, no cutscenes, no boss fights with the exception of the first boss, and pretty much no major spoilers. Honestly, in my opinion, I'm perfectly fine with this. It avoids spoilers for a extremely story heavy game, and if people wanted to see how the game works, they could. They could see what the game is about, and it's really great that they did something like this. As I said, I really hope other game developers do something or publishers do something like this and implement some sort of like spoiler free system that tries to help calm the spoilers of a game. Because honestly, I think there should be a dateline where you could reveal like everything in a game. Let's take for example, Final Fantasy VII. Some people still haven't played it, which is very odd. But yeah, you can't really talk about spoilers. That game is like what 20 years old or something like that. So revealing spoilers in such an old game, Earth dies, that kind of thing is perfectly fine. But I think there should be probably like a three month period where you cannot reveal certain things about games, just to keep the intrigue of others. Because if somebody were to just see the story of Persona 5 like in a stream or whatever, and it is their fault, to be honest. If you don't want to see spoilers of a game, why are you watching a stream or watching a YouTube video on it? It doesn't really make sense. But there should be a specific time period, maybe like a month or two outside of the release, where there can't be any like spoiler content on YouTube or Twitch. I think that would be perfectly fine, and I think people would be okay with it if they wanted something like that, or at least give the people the option to. But yeah, Persona 5 right now is really good. I'm really enjoying it. It's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what all the fans of the Persona series really enjoy, and it improves on a lot of things. You can get it today. It's still $60. I'm sure you could probably find a sale on it somewhere, because obviously there's always sales for games everywhere. But yeah, Persona 5 is really good. It's doing well. It shipped 1.5 in maybe 3 days. Yeah, Persona 5 is doing really well, and it's a game of the year contender in my opinion. All right, next up, Bayonetta 3. So Sega has actually teased Bayonetta, something with Bayonetta. There is an image online of, you can see shoes, Bayonetta's heels, or gun heels, or whatever you would like to call it, and it's counting down to 3 days from now. So today is Friday, so there's going to be a reveal on Tuesday. We don't know what it is yet. It could be a Bayonetta 3, or it could be a Bayonetta PC port. It is not, however, going to be a Bayonetta 2 port, because Bayonetta 2 is owned by Nintendo. Nintendo pretty much owns Bayonetta 2 in their library. Could be a Nintendo Switch port of Bayonetta 1 and 2. That's also possible. If they are going to do a reveal of Bayonetta 1 or Bayonetta 2, I would like them to improve on a lot of things and add in more content, not just having it be a regular port like most games are. If you bring it up to PC, I would thoroughly enjoy it having like fresh new content, maybe a online, like a new online feature that's a tad bit better than the one that was on the Wii U. There could be also new costumes, new weapons, and all that kind of stuff. New story or something, extra story from maybe John's perspective. Or you could have like multiple unlocks, maybe an homage to Dante or Beautiful Joe or Amaterasu from the Okami series. All of these will be great ideas. I think they should do something to pay homage to, their older franchises. Like you could have a Beautiful Joe costume or a Dante costume. Just things to bring in more content, or have unlockable characters. Have you be able to play as John and she has a completely different move set, new weapons. Have you be able to play as Rodon. Something that's brand new. Something that would bring in more content for the game and not just be a dead port. Now, if it is Bayonetta 3, that's completely different. We don't know what's going on with it. Is it partner with our Platinum partner with Nintendo on this again? Is it going to be Switch exclusive, or is it going to come out for all platforms? We honestly don't know. I think we're going to get a trailer of some kind Tuesday. But yeah, Bayonetta 2, there's a teaser right now. You can clearly tell it's Bayonetta, but we don't know what it is actually. All right, just a little thing to add on at the very end right now to end this show. Breath of the Wild, there's actual footage right now. Breath of the Wild running at 4K native resolution and 30 frames per second, and with very little, I believe, no frame drops. This is actually crazy. You can play Breath of the Wild on PC right now. Kind of piracy. It kind of is. But you can't play it through emulation. I'll probably put a link to the actual video in the description. But yeah, this game looks absolutely amazing. And honestly, for the people that are working on this, I believe they're making money off of this. The developers for this emulator, for this Wii U emulator, is doing like a lot of work. And honestly, I gotta commend them on this because the work they've put in so far, like I've seen a lot of progression, and I've been following them, and they've been working on this day in and day out, and there's a lot of improvement within the past month, I believe. So Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch emulator, it looks really good. I'm wondering if I can play this game on my PC. I have it on my Switch, so I should be fine. I don't really I don't understand how piracy works, but I do have it on the Nintendo Switch, so I guess I could download it and see if I could play it. I honestly don't think so, because the emulator is still buggy, and you need a beast of a computer to actually play this game, even at like regular settings. But yeah, just wanted to end it on that note. Go check out the videos. I'll put everything in the description. I hope you enjoyed this episode. See ya.